Hello, my name is Patrick Martinen, and just like you, I had a dream. For me, it was a dream to make the lives of tropical plantation workers better and the industry as a whole more sustainable. I have the privilege of being your host for this session entitled Technology Solutions Facilitating Our Elderly. Under the patronage of His Highness Sheikh Ahmed bin Faisal Al Qasimi and organized by Mirai JMAC Family Office on the sidelines of World Dream Day, this session is part of a global leadership and investment summit titled Building Future Ready Business. World Dream Day, held on September 25th for the past decade, reminds us that everything starts first with a dream. And so today I have with me three distinguished panelists that all dared to dream for a better life for the elderly around us. Before I introduce them, let me remind us of some quick facts about the elderly population. Between 2015 and 2050, the proportion of world population over 60 will nearly double from 12 to 22%. A staggering 2.2 billion elderly will live among us. And in 2050, 80% of these older people will be living in low and middle income countries. All countries therefore face major challenges to ensure that their health and social systems are ready to make the most of this demographic shift. Our panelists are already working to solve these problems. We have Sophie Egner, the co-founder and COO at Alive, Fit and Free, a startup dedicated to empowering seniors to live better for longer by connecting them over virtual experiences that offer wellness, adventure, and connection. Hello, Sophie. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Patrick. It's great to be here.
We have Suresh Naga, the co-founder at Easy Medical, which is fast becoming a dominant player in the omni-channel pharma and wellness sector in India. So basically transforming an industry that originally operated out of dispensaries at clinic and hospitals and taking it online. Suresh, it's nice to have you here with us, and always a pleasure to reconnect and exchange with a fellow alumni from Chicago Booth School of Business.
Hi, Patrick, and glad to be here. Really like to have a very enriching and interactive discussion with all of you, and like to learn more about what everyone else is doing. So thanks for having me here.
Thank you, of course. Then we have Samyaji Roy. He is the co-founder and CEO of Emoha Elder Care, a virtual or connected community that offers elders and their family access to a range of support and services to enable them to live a more comfortable life in their own home. Hello and welcome. It's lovely to meet you.
Thank you, Patrick. Such a pleasure.
Thank you. So Samyaji, out of the three guests, you seem to be the panelist who has been in industries that target senior for the longest, over a decade. And so perhaps I'll get the ball rolling off with you. What I'm curious about, having recently left India myself, where I know you are based, spent 2 decades there, is how the landscape has changed. How have trends like, outsourcing, workforce displacement, the move away from joint family affected the elderly, and how Emoha helps to address that?
No, thanks, Patrick. First of all, thank you so much for organizing this. Such a pleasure to have been part of this panel. Thanks, Sophia, Suresh. Looking forward to learning from you. You're right. It's been about 12 years of the 20 years been working, and it's not about the work. I think the feeling of working in the elder care space is very special, because the more you work with elders, the more it becomes more and more interesting and more enriching. India is obviously 120 million elders. It's pretty large elderly population. 40 million elders stay in urban areas. 6% of this has dementia. Today is actually the World Alzheimer's Day. So parallelly, we are doing a couple of sessions of awareness for Alzheimer's, in various communities. One of the things which I learned while working in different capacities in different companies is that seniors want to stay at home. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the elders have their memories. That's where their sons grew up, children grew up. And while a lot of senior living developments were happening across the country, which are good for the industry, by and large, 99% of this population in India would, and it's true across the world, would like to stay and age in place. I come from an urban planning architecture background, and having spent time in technology and geospatial engineering, it just seemed natural that how can we use technology and how can you use sensors, IoT, technical aspects to be able to stitch everything into the elder's home. It also so happened that my personal and professional paths kind of crossed, because while I was working for 12 years in the elder care field, started the industry body along with friends, which is now the country's largest senior living body, representing more than 50 players in the field. My mom and dad also started to go through a lot of challenges. Mom had been a school principal, and I've seen her going through all kinds of dementia-related challenges for the last 10 years now. She still continues to be very active. Still continues to teach, in a school for underprivileged children nearby. And we've seen that the ability to connect everything around the home. Imoha, it's a home. If you turn around the word Imoha, it's a home. And it's about how we can make emotional and physical well-being of an elder through better technologies, better systems, better hyper-local connectivity for elders across the city, across the country. And it's already working. We now about more than 4,000 elders across the country who are part of the community. They are no longer lonely. Last 17 months has been extremely difficult for a lot of players, being able to manage COVID, multiple surges, medicine, and so on. And the ability to connect all of them, keep them safe, saving 170 lives, while keeping them happy and engaged every day in their time. So as we speak right now, there are different types of wellness and different types of online activities happening. We are India's largest elder content creator for events and activities for elders. And so whether it is emotional activities or it is the depth of healthcare, the whole thing comes in the form of a membership we call as Empower membership. And it costs less than $10 a month to become part of the membership. So Patrick, we've kept it simple. We've kept it the ability that 1 million elders can become part of the platform. Stay at their home, don't have to venture out of their home. And as your care needs evolve, we keep on adding subsequent layers on top of it.
Super. Thank you for that. So now I'll move to Sophie. Sophie, we met a couple of years ago, and you were knee deep in agri-tech, and now you're in aging tech. So wondered how you transformed the transition from one AG tech to the other. What were your aha moments? And were they linked to the pandemic in any way? And what does your tagline, redefining what senior means, convey to your customer?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Patrick. And thanks again for having me. It's great to learn about everyone else on the panel. So as you mentioned, I did start off in ag tech. And the way that I got connected into age tech was actually through my mom. So she's been a senior fitness professional for about 10 years. And for quite a while, we had been discussing, ways that we could scale up the classes that she gives. And really what she was all about is empowering seniors to live a more active life for longer. And so as we kind of started this conversation, the fact is that there's actually a 13-year gap between what Americans call their health span, which is age 65, and their lifespan. So that means for those 13 years, they can expect not to live a healthy life. And with 20% of Americans being over 65 in 2030, and 90% of those wanting to continue living at home, that's just not something that we were okay with. And we said, this is something that has to be addressed. And so we started scaling up. Her classes were already very much in demand in person. And so we said, how can we take this virtual and actually get every American access to these types of resources that really empower them to live the life that they want as long as possible and live better for longer. So that's really what we're about. We did, the pandemic did help us a lot in that regard. So we started in late 2019, and then obviously when the pandemic hit in early 2020, it was the perfect time to convince seniors to go online. So I would say where we've been helped is that now Zoom is a common term in even senior households. So we have even a 100-year-old that joins us 4 times a week. And so just quickly in terms of what we do, we provide very diverse classes and events where seniors connect together with each other as well as with instructors. And all of our classes and events are geared towards empowering seniors with the tools they need to live a life that's more active, more adventurous, ensure wellness is a part of their aging journey, and also ensuring social connection.
Fantastic. So your mother is truly inspiring, it seems.
She's a senior herself, and she's a bit like an Energizer bunny. So that helps a lot. I think everybody that takes her class just wants more of it. And so we have expanded now to about 15 different instructors. And then we also work with different tour guides around the globe for our more cultural themed events as well.
Lovely. And finally, but not least, Suresh, before you started on the journey with Easy Medical, your background was deeply entrenched in tech consulting, strategy, and the delivery sector, as India is famous for. Perhaps you can tell us what sparked this entrepreneurial journey, and maybe share a few personal experience that you've had with the elder community that maybe made you double down on your resolve.
I think one of the key things that I always believe and still very strongly think about is that one got to be flexible, especially in this rapid innovation phase that we are all going through. This is where I think I needed to reassess myself and reassess the priorities, and that got me moved to my hometown where my parents live. And as I realized that I think over a period of time, I mean, you have been allowed to roam around the world, do what you wanted to do. The parents gave you the flexibility. Your brothers gave you the flexibility. And now it was your turn after having established what you had aimed for or what your family had aimed for. You know, you need to get back and give back to your people, your family, your parents. And that got me back to my hometown. And this is where I think I always believed that one got to be flexible. And that helped me to kind of really feel comfortable with whatever I did in the past and what I'm doing today. When it comes to a kind of technology and technology solutions for the elderly, I think I'm there. I moved here for my family, for my parents, for my growing parents. And that probably also kind of really helped me to realize that there is a big void being created by the technology itself. What we are talking about, the technology solutions for the elderly, but at the same time, the technology has created that big gap between the generations, right? And they at times feel left out because of whatever changes that had happened, whatever the technology has brought up in the today's time of doing things, the way that things are done in the past, the way that things are getting done today. So elderly really feels that, you know, they are left out, and they feel that they should be talking, they should be interacting, they should be heard on a regular basis as they were done before. So I think I learned a lot with my parents, and I think I learned a lot of things as to what they really look for, the elderlies look for. And I would say that solutions that we create today, they all should actually have a certain element of human touch. And the care that the personal touch brings in, it's the biggest catalyst that you can think about. And every solution that we think about should have this catalyst at the forefront of everything that we try to plan and do things. So this is what I thought about when I picked up, and what I'm doing today, and what I feel about our responsibilities for the seniors, for the senior citizens, elderlies, the parents, and as a society as a whole. That's what I think about.
Excellent. And so my second set of questions, I'm changing gears a little and coming back to you, Samyajit, and trying to understand what are the technologies that effectively you've brought together that serve the elders in your community. And that community is not only the elders in India, but also many people and families that have moved abroad or have jobs in different cities. And so what have you put together to serve them?
So, Patrick, the philosophy that started the technology journey is to be able to, I think Sophie used the word empower. That's the product that we call, the membership is called the Empower membership. It is all about how we can unleash and unlock all the energies that an elder has. I believe that whether it's my mom or it's, my mom has been a school principal, and as I said, till the day that she's there, ability to be able to give her the independence to do things, whatever she wants to do, means that the technology is fairly diverse. So whether it is, can you see these? Whether it is small little devices like this, or panic buttons which are there inside the home, or it is, the app that is dedicated. It's a comprehensive app that is designed for elders on the system. My design focus is an 85-year-old elderly lady staying alone on the bed, potentially somebody with, who knows, some deadly disease, but who's staying at home. And this started happening 2 years before, kind of COVID hit the country, hit the world. So in many ways, the thought process was that how can I keep, that auntie active? How can I make her life more interesting? So it is a plethora of technologies, starting from the app, which is built on React Native, and having longitudinal daily data being stored right from the initiation to daily moods. There is a virtual daughter which calls on to the elder every day, 5 days a week, and they record a lot of information in the system. And this becomes very, very powerful amount of information and data. Their complete medical records are there with us. Their complete behavioral data is there with us. I was really marveling, Sophie, on the fantastic work that I was just seeing on your website. We have similar kind of wellness activities and programs that we do, more than 1,400 programs done in the last 15 months. Which elder watches what program, what are their friends, what are their social mapping is all stored in our system. So it allows us to help people connect with each other. And we found sometimes old friends discovering each other on the online platform. So whether it is engagement done on the app, or it is the sensors and IoT devices in the elder's home, which helps emergencies getting activated, or it is healthcare related interventions through, kind of healthcare EHR systems. All of this is stitched together for the benefit of the elder, and we don't push the technology. One important thing is, we are neutral. Whether you want to call us on the helpline, or you just call the virtual daughter, or you press the panic button, or you press the app, the experience is same. We keep it very simple so that an elderly person or their children across the world, we have their sons and daughters in more than 30 cities and towns across the world. So we have local chapters in New Jersey, Washington, and other places. So those sons and daughters should feel they are virtually present in the elder's home. And therefore the information is constantly coming. If there's a carer who's come to the elder's home, they should immediately get a notification that the carers are reached. So this whole cycle of how you can stay safe, healthy, energized, and also book for various activities, conveniences, is what the technology platform is. We like to keep the things simple. We like to keep the back end is complex, but the front end is fairly straightforward, and the core is data. Everything is built around the elders' usage data.
All right, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Sophie, I know you have a strong background in user experience and product design. So I wondered what, in your view, were the most important aspects when you were designing technology for older adults, and how did you manage to incorporate those design principles in your platform, and what kind of stickiness did you get from that?
Yeah, so I think our design journey has been quite interesting. And I think this is honestly an area where even a lot of companies building for seniors don't take that seriously. And so I think our journey started with really just user testing. So we would kind of draft something up, go to our target audience and hear their feedback. And what's really surprising to us is that a lot of the technologies that seniors are currently not using, they're doing so purposefully. So we've gotten a lot of feedback. For example, we tested out a forum feature and we had some people say, I don't use social media because I choose not to, because I feel like that makes my friendships less authentic. And so there's these pieces of technology that seniors are currently not using that I think the assumption was, oh, they don't know how. But actually, we need to come back to square one and say, maybe they don't want to use them. Maybe there's another reason other than just inability to use the technology. And I think that we've been proven true on that on several things. So I think designing for seniors is about getting to the root of what they want out of the technology. And I think this is really important because so many of the technologies built for seniors are actually built for people around seniors. It's not built for that senior themselves to empower that person to use the technology actively and actually use the technology to make their own choices. And so I think a lot of the design that we do is all about I keep saying empowerment because it's actually very important. As people age, they start to lose more and more of that power to make their own decisions. Their children start wanting to make the decisions. Healthcare is starting to tell them, okay, maybe you shouldn't drive, maybe you shouldn't do this. And so they start with getting this feeling of disempowerment. And so to be able to bring technology to them that empowers them to feel like, number one, they know how to use the technology, they're making the choice to actively be a part of this is really big as well. So all of the design principles come back to this kind of core value of empowerment and really saying, what are the key pieces that they want out of technology and how do we give that to them in the simplest way possible? So in terms of how our technology is built, it's all focused on that. So it may not be the most complex technology on the back end. It may be a very simple technological solution, but it's actually bringing about this very unique impact to the seniors.
Wow, very insightful. Suresh, one of my favorite companies is a graduate of IDEO called PillPack that basically ensures that seniors never miss medicine, right? And so I was wondering, you're on the online pharmacy as well, and what kind of features have you developed that really help the seniors with some of the daily challenges they have with taking medicine, for instance?
Right.
And what other tech, interesting tech you've put in place or features?
I think a few of the things that I got from both Soumit and Sophie is about the empowerment. And I would talk more about the empowerment as well as I want to add another word to this is the empathy. I think the empathy, if you bring that into your thinking, it allows you to kind of build those practical solutions for the people who would finally be using those solutions, or those solutions is aimed for. Because technology is technology. It won't do anything unless you tell it to do, and unless it is imbibing all the user experiences that we can all think about. So I believe that even in the times of growing e-commerce and the e-pharmacies, I still strongly believe that the neighborhood pharmacies will continue to be relevant, especially for the kind of demographics that we have and the kind of different sets of people. And India, you know it very well. You've been, I think, in India for some time. You know how vast and the spread out the Indian communities are and the people living as well. I think the patient, after having visited the doctor, they feel the need to still be talking to somebody, and that could be the best one is the pharmacist, to talk about that, okay, can I take this medicine after the meal, before the meal, or maybe afternoon or morning or the evening or the night? Because the face time that he gets with the doctor is pretty limited and leaves a lot of questions unanswered. And many of the questions they don't even pose to them, thinking that probably it is too high level for the doctor. And they come back unanswered. And that is when the neighborhood pharmacist plays is a big role. And this is not just today. I mean, this has happened over a period of time. So the trust is the factor which get built over a period of time. And I believe that this trust will continue to be relevant, while it is also true that the technology is bringing in the efficiency in the entire ecosystem. So one has to leverage the technology to build the solution that brings in the efficiency and address some of the things which the other things cannot address, but at the same time ensure that it is connected. It is connected with your previous experiences, previous behaviors, and so on and so forth. So while I said that this neighborhood pharmacies will continue to be relevant, what we are doing is that we are empowering the patients or the customers to ensure that they have a choice. So they have a choice to, while placing the order on our tech platform, to pick up the medicines from their choice of nearest neighborhood store, or they can also have that medicines home delivered from those neighborhood stores. And in this, the time also plays a very important role. As to sometime the doctor has said that you want to start the medicines today, and you can't wait for a few hours or a few days for the medicines to arrive. This is where the e-commerce will need to really catch up and ensure that the timely delivery is really critical, and especially for the tier 3 and tier 4 towns where the logistics are slightly challenging. So what we have done is we created a network of stores. So while we have the e-commerce play, we have our mobile app, we also have physical footprint model. So we are roughly around 65 physical franchise health and wellness pharmacy stores. We're gonna be around 100 stores in next couple of months. And I'm sure that we are trying to bring that kind of an ecosystem wherein nobody will be feeling left out, including the elderlies. Who will have the option of choice. I mean, they will have a choice basically. I think as soon as there is a term called choice, that I have a choice, I feel empowered, that I can choose one or the other, right? So these are the few things that we are doing, and I think few of the other futuristic, I wouldn't call them as a futurist because things like those are already happening, but it is like bringing those care or the services under one umbrella, which is like, say, teleconsultation, home. I mean, you can, sitting at home, you can have a teleconsultation. You can have a doctor appointment being done through the platform. You can have your diagnostics or the laboratory test being also arranged for the home collection, etc., from the one single platform. So we're going to look at offering some of these services, which I think over a period of time will really help elderly as well as the senior citizens.
Thanks, Suresh. So time runs fast when we're having fun. And so maybe the last segment can be a bit more interactive. It's open to all three of you. Stepping outside your platform, looking to the future, 5-10 years from now, what technology, what experience do you believe will come into the mainstream that has the potential to truly transform the lives of elders in just about 30 seconds each? Sophie, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So I think something that you asked earlier, which I failed to mention, was what does our tagline mean? Redefining what senior means. And I think this really speaks to what we're seeing for the future. So in the US, the word senior is used by the industry to refer to, I think, as in India, you refer to elders, don't want to call themselves seniors. And so what we are doing is changing the narrative around what it means to be a senior and really empowering seniors to show the world what they want it to mean and empowering them to use that word with pride. And so I think the technology that we're going to see in the future is everything that empowers seniors on that journey. So obviously technology to enable them to continue aging in place, as well as really live a life that they want. So bringing them more choice in terms of what that looks like.
Understood. Thank you. Manish has joined for some reason. We'll ask Ajit to tell us what he envisages in the future in less than 30 seconds.
I really, I dream of a world where elders do not have any borders. I think we all live in a world where political, religious, and various borders unfortunately limit our abilities to connect with each other and live life as a human being. I think the power of being an elder is to be able to have a life where there is no loneliness. My dream is to be able to have 1 million people having dinner together at different 8:30 p.m.s across the world simultaneously, probably having Russian ballet happening in the background music and Hindustani classical as well. So if that can happen, if an elders can have fun together while not worrying about the hassles and healthcare and all these challenges, where if I need a psychologist, I could evenly access it from Brazil as much as that I can do it in Bangladesh, where an elder does not ever have to worry about what he has to work or suffer from, because the world will become his oyster. And therefore, if your spouse has passed away, if your friends have passed away, it doesn't matter, because the whole world is now there, together with you. So that I really feel is bound to happen, and last 2 years accelerated that journey. So I feel good about that.
All right, Suresh, 15 seconds.
All right. I think the elderly really have a feeling of being wanted. they want to feel involved, they want to contribute still, right? And we have been grown up thinks that no, they shouldn't be contributing, they should actually be relaxing. But I think that's not the case. They want to be active, and this is where I in straight terms, but their desire remains. And they are like I do believe that I think they are like a grown-up child. And Sophie is trying to redefine what the senior citizen means. And it would be, I would add to that is that I think they are a grown-up child. But they have an ego. But they may have an ego because they are grown up, because they can't really leave some of the learnings of the past and with the experience behind. So they may have a certain solutions which they have been following for certain things, but they are child as well. So, you know, there is a role reversal. When I say role reversal, it's like now we have got to be the parents, and they are the child, and you need to really look at it from that way, that how the mother unselfishly takes care of the child, you know, whatever that matters. So this is what we need to bring. I don't know what the technology solution for that could be. This, I think the Sophie and Samyaji are doing their job really, really well, and I really look forward to kind of getting to know them more and their companies and the solutions as well more. But I think what I'm trying to say is what I think you got that. So we got to take care of them. It's a role reversal is what we need to remember.
Absolutely. I think there is no doubt. I myself have 3 elderlies, more than 80 at home. One has got dementia, one can barely walk. And so, you know, as a caregiver, I also need a lot of help from companies like yours. All right, gentlemen. Well, there you have it. Amazing experience shared by our 3 panelists that have been there, done that, and that are successfully changing the world for the elderly by leveraging tech. That's all, folks. This is Patrick Martinent and my distinguished panelists signing off.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.